What is up, guys? Wraec here with a new video, and today we only have 1 day, 5 hours left on the Hodgkin rate up. And maybe you ask yourself, well, is it worth summoning for this unit now? Maybe you have the 40 tickets left, don't know what to do with it. I want to talk a little bit more about Hodgkin, give you the up-to-date information of all the testing that has been done, and give you the details on whether or not people feel like this unit is worth it or not. And, of course, if I personally feel that way. Hodgkin, to me, has been probably the most disappointing rate up that we had in all that time. And I'm talking not about even talking about Luca. Like Luca to many felt very disappointing. Hodgkin for me even more disappointing because I actually had hope for him. For Luca I looked at the skills and was like, I was kind of meh. But for Hodgkin I thought, well, you got some things going. You have the ult hitting all the enemies, has self damage, which is interesting as a concept. We have the whole physical immunity state in the ethereal realm there, where he can just become entirely immune to physical damage, recover HP. I thought, oh, that's cool. It's like, I mean, one type of damage that is entirely immune against. Other heroes aren't immune to one type of damage, so it could be pretty good. And then I saw like the Mythic Plus, and the Mythic Plus has this interesting effect and applies Voidbound magic to any unit hit by Cannon Fire. Cannon Fire is his ult and makes them essentially volatile. When they get defeated, they explode and deal damage around them. Maybe we can watch that a little bit in a fight. I thought, well, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. That's actually an interesting team to go with that. Can we somehow implement? No, we can't. Let's just take Fresto out and put Hodgkin in there, because he is decently tanky, we have to say that. Would rather not have had him be targeted by Nara, but maybe this will work out. We'll have to see. And the good thing with him really is this ethereal state where he just becomes immune to all physical damage. But the volatile was what I had big hopes for. I was thinking like, okay, we do like a summoner build, summon a ton of units, maybe with burial, maybe some florable stuff, maybe something along the lines of that. And then we target everything with his cannon fire, make the heroes volatile, make them all explode, and maybe start like a giant chain explosion. And I was hoping for that, and it really didn't work out. This little, well, foggy effect around the hero unit, that is his void magic. You will never see that do any damage though. Regardless how many units you put there, it really doesn't do anything. And his damage overall, in some situations we got him to do like decent damage, but when I put him in a normal team or have him in Duress Trial, the situation is just like, yeah, he won't do very well. He won't do a ton of damage, it won't be very impressive, and overall you will often end up just not clearing a stage. So, yeah. Not really an impressive unit in that regard overall. He can survive fairly well. He gets 2 summons with him, which is like his Mythic Plus main part, the 2 Dead Tide Warriors. But they don't do anything really. So overall, you just don't get a lot of anything. The only really good use that I have seen him have, and that I have to say, is that I saw that he can fairly decently be a tank in a situation where you just need a phys immune hero. Like this physical immunity stuff that works if you put him in Duress Trial and you just put him ahead of all of the enemies and they hit him and they all do physical damage. He will in general survive. He will go into this ethereal state, and you can see like Savina hitting him, no chance at all, because she does physical damage once he's in his ethereal state. That's done. And if there are like 1, 2, 3 enemies around him and he can constantly get his ult, then he won't be defeated by a physical damage unit, because he will be constantly in his ethereal state. This can work, and this can make him like the best tank in a situation where you just have physical damage enemies. And I had this situation once in Duress Trial. Exactly once. Most of the time you face teams with at least 1 magic damage dealer, and even in PvP you don't really get to cheese this entire situation, because, well, there is always that 1 magic damage dealer in the enemy team, and most of the time there are more, because still to this date most damage dealers in PvP are either magic or true damage dealers, or have the capability to deal at least one of those damage types, and thus making his immunity essentially worthless. And yeah, that is quite the sad part here. and even there we get defeated once again. It doesn't really matter. Point made, not a really great unit overall. And the thing is, there is still a situation where you might just want to summon him. You might just want to summon him, and that is not the physical damage stuff. I mean, for that, if you have this super specific situation, great, it's nice to have him. But nonetheless, you will eventually summon him anyway, because when you go into all your recruitment and go into the wish list, there aren't too many great heroes in here. And despite being, well, not really the greatest unit, and I would rank him actually quite low in the Graveborn summoning order, certainly below Thorin, certainly below Nara as well. I prefer Nara, I much prefer Nara over Hodgkin. Of course, Carolina, Ludovic, coming along with the 40 billion damage at the moment in Dream Realm, crazy stuff. I actually like Sessia more than him, so probably the only hero I would summon him before is like Gore, and even that is like, I'm not too sure about that. No, probably I would summon him last. And if you get him as your 7th hero in Graveborn, as your 7th S tier, that's still good enough. But there's one thing that he has going for himself, and that is that he is an S tier. He is an S tier actually in the Waves of Intrigue season, so you can swap him for any other S tier in the Waves of Intrigue season. So if you want to have a Sonya and you have no other S tier from the season that you could swap, in my opinion, it's still very much so worthwhile, and I explained this in regard to Sonya as well, to have like a Tazi on your account. And no matter if it's like 1 copy, 2 copies, there is the option here to go for that, use a few rate ups, get yourself some copies, swap that over to Tazi, or get yourself the full one. Keep in mind, Tazi, one of her main uses was to be put on Lightbearer tile. That is going to probably not be the case next season, so she's going to be a little bit weaker. Though I don't share the general opinion that some people seem to have, that she's going to be entirely weak. I see her used often enough in battle modes like Arena. We can just check it out. Let's just check some random people. There she is, Tazi. You can check here. There she isn't. Is Endgame using her? No, he isn't. Bloody well, look at that. And we can just click a little bit through here. In top endgame, we don't really seem to see her. Sasma we already checked out, but there are many people using her. And why is that the case? Because she is like such a cheese unit. You place her there and you have to defeat her multiple times, and then she casts her ult, and if you don't have a Tazi yourself, you can really risk getting defeated there, and it's a horrible thing when it's happened. So I personally prefer still the Daniel method. Though I will have to change that soon. I kind of want to do some stuff with Harak there. I really want to make like an assassin-ish team. So maybe that's an option for you. The rate up here for Hodgkin, I think most people can safely let it pass. I just checked out, by the way, the Analytica Discord. Wanted to see, okay, are there some new opinions about this guy? And this thread is entirely dead. It's entirely dead. It's gone. The last message being from Topma. About whether or not Nara is better than Hodgkin. The answer was yes. You can get 1 copy of Nara and she will do pretty well. Hodgkin might be the worst rate up unit ever, and I was thinking about this for a second, and I was like, nah, that's not true. That's not true, because he felt pretty good as like a Graveborn hero, to have like a new Graveborn hero. And I thought like, it's kind of true. It's really kind of true. I mean, many people don't like Sinbad. I like Sinbad. I just compared him to Luca, but Luca actually does what he's supposed to do. He's a tank. He's not much more than that, but you have a purpose. You are a tank. You put him in Lightbearer team to activate your skill. You have a tank there, and he does that, and he is not bad at it necessarily. He's not a good unit compared to the other tanks, but he's a tank and he can be tanking. So that's kind of nice. Hodgkin is like all over the place and really doesn't know what he wants to be, and every like potential that is there gets entirely wasted over the board. And I have complained, by the way, to the community managers about this guy, because I think it's a horrible thing. It's a horrible thing how weak his Mythic Plus is, especially this level 10 ability. I don't like that. And I told them, guys, I was hoping for more here. They asked me, Wraec, what is your least favorite unit? And I actually said Hodgkin. So yeah, that being said, don't summon him unless you want to swap the copies over to Tazi. Then that's alright, I guess. Other than that, I would say I wish you guys a great day. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and see us in the next one.